today I've got something exciting. It's just been delivered just now, literally, and I can see the postman out the window. Hello! I'm kidding. I don't think I'm waving to him. But anyway, Munak's joined us now from the other side of the country, so say hello and welcome. Do check out PCBWay. They do high quality custom PCBs, single and double-sided, as well as both surface mounted and through-hole assembly. They have a very fast delivery service, so you will get your PCB delivered to you in no time. So I've had my eye on the Polyend tracker for a little over a year now. Someone in my comments mentioned it and I was instantly intrigued. So I looked it up at the time and started saving. Then life happened. Then recently a regular commenter, Paul Delta, hi Paul, brought it back to my attention and I decided to bite the bullet and order it. So here it is. So I think Paul himself is interested in getting one for himself. Oh my god, it's so good. It's basically a standalone tracker. Ooh, foamy rubbery things. Okay, nicely packed, in other words. Okay, so let's see what we get with it. We have a USB SD card reader. We have a MIDI cable because it's the 3.5 jack plug. And you have a USB-C charging cable. Well, USB-C power cable, I should say, because it doesn't have its own internal battery. That's the input. So it's like 3.5mm jack to the audio inputs. Dual to mono, left and right. Oh, you know what I mean. Alright, so this is just the power adapter for the Polyend. The Polyend tracker itself, the hardware tracker itself. And this is my first ever contact with this. And so this was not sent to me. I actually bought it myself because I've just been curious about it, so I've been saving up for it. So yeah, I'm gonna do this is like an overview exploration thing at the moment because I haven't used it yet, but I'm gonna do like this initial video. It's like an initial exploration video, but then later on, once I get used to it a bit more, I will do a review on it and what I think about it. So we have the hardware keys here. Feels like a computer. It's like a mechanical keyboard. We have the jog dial here, which has got like very gentle, it's actually all metal. It's aluminium. So underneath is kind of like a high-grade plastic. Do you know that plastic which feels like it's got velvet, which is like velvet surface? It's that kind of a plastic. The original ones were the entire thing was aluminium. So I don't know why they changed it. It seems to be built solid, and I just love. These are the keyboard pads and the pad. You know, it's like you can use this as a keyboard, just like a thingy, but they're not as easy to press. This doesn't have a battery inside it for whatever reason, but you can use it obviously on the mains, or you can use a battery bank. Okay, you just have to, don't you? You have to come and do your inspection here. You've just taken away my sunshine. Excuse me, put your bum on my new Polyend tracker. It actually, if you want to use it, it's got... It's just a freak. The very moment I take it out of the box, he just jumps and runs and makes it his little house. Eesh. Okay, so let's go through what there is here. I'm still exploring it myself, so here is no-brainer power button, and here's the USB power. Then you have the factory reset hole. You just stick a paper clip in there and it resets all the settings to factory reset. Micro SD card slot. So that means this does not come with any internal storage. Everything is done on this micro SD, and it seems to come with one, which is 16 gigabytes. I'm assuming that this is like samples, demos, stuff like this. To just get you going and just like demonstrate it. Okay, so that's MIDI in and MIDI out. So of course, it comes with the adapter. It only comes with one adapter. So you either have MIDI in, which I'm probably going to be using the most, and MIDI out, though it's a shame they didn't supply two of these. So you have a microphone in for sampling your voice. You have a line in for sampling, I assume, again. and you have a line out here, which is also the headphone socket. I'm speaking as if I know everything there is to know about this thing. I do not. I'm not even powered it up yet. This is just like no-brainer stuff, you know, the ports. I have to say it looks really nice. I'm really excited about this. I've been looking forward to this the entire week. That's why I'm like all excited about it. So yeah, let's kind of plug it in and just like see what it does. Now the USB is a USB-C, which is, you know, I'm glad it's that because everything has USB-C these days. And it's a much more, I don't know, I feel the USB-C plugs are much more like sturdier than the micro USBs. Anyway, I'll stop jib-jabbing and I'll actually turn it on. I'm just so excited. Right. Okay, so the first the first like switching on and it's okay, so the first switching on and it's all exciting. Sorry. Okay, so these don't actually need, you know, it's almost like touch only, so. Okay, so this is interesting. You have that's your pattern editor. Now this doesn't just have 4 tracks, it has 8 tracks, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. When you kind of like go sideways, it goes 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think the maximum is 8, as far as I know. Now you've got pattern editor here, you've got sample editor. Nice. And you have, this actually does wavetables, that's going to file. And games. What games? It's interesting. Anyway, so open. So archaeologies ask the stars. I'll just pick one because I don't know any of these. Open. Okay, so we play. Nice. I'm actually looking forward to creating my. I was just playing one pattern. Yeah, hold on. Stop that a second. Go to song. Play. It's a bit of drum and bass. Not my thing really, but pretty cool here though. I'm actually very excited about this. I want to see if this actually works like as I think it will. The reason why I got this is because I've always loved trackers. I've created music on the Commodore Amiga back in the 90s and still do to this day. So something like this just appeals to me in a big way. More than the other modern dolls such as Cubase, Reaper and others. Trackers have always appealed to me and I think they always will. Also, not so long ago I found this photograph of me, well, it's my hand, in the 90s, creating my earlier mods on Soundtrack of Pro 2. This was my Amiga 1200 setup back then. My much earlier mods I actually created on the Amiga 500 with loads of floppy disks and external disk drives. So the question which is entering my mind, which I'm sure has entered your mind is, does this thing play standard Amiga Pro Tracker mods? I don't know, let's try. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've connected the Amiga up here. Okay, so I've just freshly installed Soundtrack on this install. If you watch my Amiga videos, then you'll know that I'm installing 3.2, OS 3.2, so if you wish to watch that, again, description below or the letter right there. So this is the tracker program I've used for like 20 years to create music. And it plays standard Amiga Pro Tracker mods as well. Okay, so let's play this very same Pro Tracker module on the Polyend tracker and see what it does with it. Okay, so File, Import Mod, and Start as Memories, which is the same. Obviously it sounds totally different because it doesn't work the same way as a mod. Exactly the same way as a mod. Let me just remind you that some of the commands that are in the soundtrack are commands. They don't exist on this, or they just work very differently. So this is still being worked on, so obviously it's not going to translate well. This is basically interpreting the mod. But actually, what's good about this is that at least you can load the mod, and you can change the samples to, like, you know, updated ones. You can do whatever you want with it. You've got the patterns, you've got everything, so you can actually just, like, you know, make a remake of the actual mod, and it'll sound like more dynamic and so forth. It won't, obviously, you know, the charm of the mod, the original charm of the mod, nothing will beat that, but, you know, it opens up for creativity, doesn't it? And in case you're wondering, no, it doesn't play Commodore 64 SID files. I've tried. It doesn't. Unfortunately, I wish it did. But yeah, it has all the song patterns and everything, so you can literally just, you know, the sample editor here, you can... So it's like if you hold the preview button here, you can literally go up and down the list and hear them straight away. Okay, I'm like he's proud of himself. Even though it's too big to even fit in there. Okay, so let's find the latest firmware on this thing. And yes, you see correctly, Tux the Linux penguin has eaten the apple. And this thing here really does come in handy. This micro SD to USB. Okay, so we go to polyend.com and go to products, tracker, and it comes up with, you know, the information on the tracker here. You see this little bar that appears. You have overview, features, tech specs, and you go to downloads. So you can download the manuals here and the tutorials, FAQ, and the latest firmware here. I didn't even bother looking at this until I needed to get the firmware. So you can either use a Polyend tool, you know, that you could just install on your Mac or Windows. I mean, I don't have either on this computer, it's a Linux based. So, you know, the good thing about this is you don't need that Polyend tool really. You can just get the firmware, put it onto the card here, and I'll show you the rest. Okay, so just to show you the file structure of the card itself. It reminds me of how the SID box is, to be honest. It sort of has a folder for each thing at the beginning. You know, the samples, projects, mod, if you want to like import mods. You just copy it into that folder. So you have your project files here, the files which you create. I mean, 16 gigabytes each project. My track here that what I've done so far is 2.3 megabytes. And when you start, you know, having collections of, when you start building up your samples and your, you know, all that stuff, obviously they'll all add up. You have your sample library in your bank, but obviously always back up. You also have games. You can download NES games. Some NES games will work, others will not. So I basically made a directory or a folder of the stuff which I've downloaded. Okay, so you have the 3 folders there which are extracted, and you have the, so now the firmware file. Go inside here, it's this PDF. Go in your firmware folder, you'll see 1.4 here, and just copy it here. And I'll tell you what to do exactly on the when we get on the Polyend itself. Okay, so let's turn it on. It's version 1.4. Right, so we need to go into the actual config part of this. Go into firmware, firmware update, and then you press enter here. And then it gives you here, you've got 2 files in the firmware folder. So it selects, you can select between the two, obviously 1.5. So select that. Do you want to flash the firmware? Yes. Make sure you connect to a stable power supply. It takes about 30 seconds. It says do not plug anything during this 30-second upgrade. You don't want to break this thing. I'm not sure how often they do updates. If anyone knows, please comment below. The updates will have like a lot of bug fixes. I've heard that, you know, this does come with bugs, and then the latest one has, you know, they fix them all and everything. So, and then they add a few new features here and there. Okay, so one thing that I'd like to suggest is have like themes. So you have the dark theme here. It'd be nice to have a light theme because, to be honest, I find it difficult. I'm dyslexic, I have Irlen syndrome, and I find it difficult to actually view white text on black background. That's why I don't do it like this, because it's like very, you know, punchy. I go like that so the background appears grayish, you know. So I'd like to have like a customizable sort of interface, like a theme, the colors and everything. You can customize them yourself. That'd be perfect, actually, including the menus and everything. So if anyone from Polyend sees this and is watching, just a few little suggestions. Aesthetically, hardware-wise, design-wise, I think it's almost perfect. For me, that is my opinion. I love these keys and the sounds of them. I love the interface, and these initially I thought they were going to be like too Spectrum keyboard-like, but actually they're pretty good. The jog dial is, you know, makes a lot of things easier. The only things, there's two little niggles, which, to be honest, they don't bother me at all. It won't stop me from, you know, buying this thing. Okay, so this button here, play, it does more than play. It's play and stop. It just bugs me a little bit that it just says play, but that's not a big deal. It's just that it's a little annoying. Why does that for? And the other thing that would be nice, just as a suggestion, if you were to ever update this thing or anything like this, would be, if, you know, to the design is, if you have all this flat, but the screen is just, you know, the screen area itself is just like tilted up a little bit, that'd be, make it, you know, just make it perfect. But I'm happy with it as it is. I'm not saying it's a criticism at all. It's just a little suggestion. I was just like, it would be nice in a perfect world, you know, this kind of thing. You know, otherwise it's fine. I love it still. Play it, you know, it functions, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. The play thing, and that's, to be honest, pretty much it. And also, you know, the firmware thing, the themes, and a few more options and things like this would be nice. Now, with regards to ease of use and things like this, what helps me is that I have a background in trackers. You know, I've used Soundtracker Pro 2 for, you know, the best part of 20 years. You know, other trackers like OpenMPT, which back then was ModPlug Tracker when I used to use it. Now, because of this background, you know, I understand the concept of it, and yes, it is quite tracker-like, but I'll go into more detail in a future video because, you know, I just want to give an overview of what I know so far, which is just, literally, it's not even been 24 hours I've had this thing. So, you know, I know the basics. I'm starting to find my way around it without even looking at the manual. So, you know, it's actually pretty good. So pattern song is like, you know, where you sort of make the pattern of the song. So each pattern that you create, you sequence it. It's a sequence. So basically I've thrown myself in the deep end and started creating a track, and that sort of helps me learn things. You know, when I'm creating something, and it's exactly how I learned Soundtracker in the beginning. I didn't actually look at manuals and look how to do things and things like this. I just like did it, you know, and I figured out where things are. And the prior knowledge of trackers really helped. And to be honest, I kind of like it. So this arrived 5 p.m. yesterday, and I did an immediate, you know, unboxing and, you know, overview video of this. And I just decided to kind of like go in the other room, and just while Rich is doing his thing, I just was sat on the sofa, just enjoying my tea and just messing around with it. And I started creating a track, you know, and it was a nice experience. I spent like a few hours on this without even realizing the time go by. So literally properly, I'd say I've spent maximum like 3 to 4 hours on this. Actually, probably not even that, probably 3 hours maximum. And I started getting to know the basics of how to do things. You know, like you have the sample here, and then you can just like your instrument, you pull down the instrument, and you can like use the jog dial to go up and down to select which instrument you want, and you can see it lighting up here as well. The instrument parameters, you can just like click on that. So each of these buttons just has their own screen, which is kind of really nice. Actually, I like that. It sort of does, in a way, remind me of Sound Tracker. So far, is it tracker-like? Yes, definitely. But I want to go in more detail later on. Actually, these are not as bad as I initially expected when it was all turned off. I was actually expecting this to be like a cross between the ZX80 or 81 dead membrane keyboard and the Sinclair Spectrum rubber keys. But it's actually not so bad. You know, they're quite sensitive, they're quite responsive, and, you know, they work. You know, one thing that's cool, you can actually hear a little relay switch in there. It's so cool. Relay switch. And you know me and relay switches. Well, those of you who do anyway. My beautiful relay switches. That's 5, 10, 15, 16 relay switches. Well, that's kind of satisfying sound. Press. Now let's add a 15,000 microfarad friend, shall we? It's more satisfying. I know the lack of battery inside this thing it's a little awkward. I do wish it did have an internal battery, rechargeable one, but I mean, it's not too much of a big deal because you can just, you know, get a battery bank. I'm still in the stage of getting to know this, you know, I mean, I want to master it a bit more. I want to get used to it a bit more. I want everything to be second nature to me before I do like a full-on, you know, review of this. But for now, the overview of it, you know, I'm actually quite impressed. And literally, it's just been hours. So basically, yesterday at, you know, 5 p.m, I got this, and I've only had it on like 3 hours messing with it maximum. And then this morning, I just like got up and, you know, started messing with it again and continued filming this video. So it's just literally just been hours. And I've already, you know, got used to a lot of it. And, you know, created a track, started creating a track, which, you know, I'm starting to sound happy with. I really need to carry on with this track. I like where it's leading so far. And this dude here, is loving this. Not even smiling. He knows I'm talking about him, that's why his tail's wafting around. Okay, fine, I'll show you games. Just to kind of show them. I mean, they're NES games, as I said earlier on, so it's like, okay, so that's fine. So down here you have A button, B button, that's that. Then you have start and select here. So just remember these. Okay. Start. I mean, yeah, okay, it's cool that it's got like a little extra game thing and it's fun like that. But it's not why I got this. You know, I could very easily play NES games on something that's like much cheaper. It's still cool nonetheless, but I don't think I'm going to be using this that much. Let's get out of here. I don't think there is a way to get out of here. Okay, you just have to reset. Actually, let's try New Zealand story. I'm used to play visiting Amiga. Oh! I'm not used to 2 buttons. Again, I much prefer the Amiga version. Yeah, scrolling's not that good in this. I don't know what it's like on the actual NES, but... To be honest, I'd even prefer this to be a Master System more than a NES. I'm more of a Sega person than a Nintendo person if I had to choose. Way more a Sega person than a Nintendo one. I mean, to be honest, I'm not fussed at all. I really am not. Because even though, you know, I was playing with that game, I'm just like, I've got it in my mind. I just want to continue with my track. And, you know, doing that. It's just... I'm just eager to continue with it. I can see myself getting very addicted to this Polyend tracker because, you know, the versatility of it, and it's just a standalone thing, and well done for one thing. It's not connected to the internet or anything like this. And, you know, it just feels like it's an isolated thing, and I prefer that. That's just like my Amiga. I don't think I'm gonna connect it to the internet unless I want to get, you know, downloaded stuff from Aminet, which I can do via PCMCI anyway, so... You know. Just one thing, I don't know why they changed this material. The actual underneath part of it is this, you know, this velvety sort of, you know, it's a good plastic, but it's got this rubbery, velvety sort of feel to it. And I've got a few things that have that. And the problem with this type of finish is that you give it some time, and when the rubber starts deteriorating years ahead from now, it's gonna start getting really sticky, and I really don't like that. I mean, for now it feels good, but I don't know why they've changed it from a complete whole aluminium case to this. You know, if you're from Polyend, please let me know why you've done this. Other than that little niggle, I love the build of this. You know, it's just, it sounds good. It sounds like an old school type keyboard. I love this. Okay, so goofing around with this, the actual views of it, because I really wanted to kind of see. You can in fact show all 8 at the same time. If you press pattern, hold pattern down, and do note, it'll show all 8 tracks with just the note. Now it's not like the Amiga tracker where you show all the effects and everything on the parameters and so forth, but you can actually show, oops, hold on. There we go. See, oh, you can toggle it back. Okay, I'm just messing with this. But if you do note and you want to show note and instrument, well, that just shows instrument, that just shows effects, that just shows the second effects, the parameters or whatever. But if you want to do 2, like this, so it'll show 8 tracks with just the note and the instrument. Obviously, you cannot do 3, I don't think. No, you cannot do 3. You can do note and, you know, any combination of these. You can only do 2 at the same time if you want to do 8. So you can just do like instrument and thingy, which to be honest, I'll be happy with. In fact, it does have a few different views, which I'm really happy to kind of just have discovered right now. It's just what I wanted, because I like to see everything. I mean, this is one of the things on Sound Tracker I'm used to. I'm used to seeing all the tracks, you know, all at once. And now I can do it with this, with all 8 of them. Anyways, I'm gonna continue doing this track now, and I will show you later on what I've done, you know, the progress, and at some point I will show you the complete thing. Hopefully I'll complete it by the time I end this video. If not, I will put out a separate video with the complete track. With regards to the Polyend tracker, I've only just scratched the surface in this video. It's just an overview and exploration. There will definitely be more upcoming videos on my channel about the Polyend tracker and Amiga music, so do stick around and watch this space. There's more fun to be had. Thanks so much to all my patrons for supporting my channel, especially to you very kind top-tier supporters of mine who deserve an extra special thanks. Rich Garbett, Electronscape, Axel Dominator, Aaron Metcalf, Corey Ostman, Stephen Leary, Mark Bosak, Starlight Minako, and Chris Sablinski. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Until next time, adios!